Chapter 6 Changes Around Us.
Introduction. Change is the only permanent thing in our life. Everything around us changes continuously. Can you imagine how our life will be if nothing around us changed? How things change. Think about your classroom looks just before school begins. There is no one in the class, chairs and tables are arranged properly, the blackboard is cleaned, the windows are closed, and there are no scraps of paper or pencil shavings on the floor. Now, think how your classroom looks after the first period is over. Count in your mind all the things that look different. Have the chairs and tables shifted a little? Is the floor as clean as it was earlier? Is the blackboard the same? You can see changes that have taken place in the room. Change is a word that has a lot of importance in our life. Everything in our universe, living or non-living, is continuously changing. Among the non-living things, seasons change, the amount of water vapor in air keeps changing, the position of the sun and moon in the sky changes, the earth and other planets are constantly changing their positions as well, the levels of water in rivers and lakes keep on changing, and so on. In the living world, plants and animals undergo change as they grow. In fact, there are lots of changes happening in your body every single day. But all changes are not same. Some are fast, some are slow, some are temporary, and some are permanent. Let us learn about different types of changes.
Types of changes: slow and fast changes. Changes take place at different speeds. Some changes take place very fast, such as the bursting of crackers or change of color on a TV screen. Some changes are very slow. They can take millions of years to occur. For example, it took millions of years for petroleum and coal to form from the dead organisms buried under the Earth's crust. Rusting of iron is another slow change which takes many days to occur.
Reversible and irreversible changes. The type of change which is observed in activity can be reversed and is called a reversible change. In a reversible change, no new substance is formed and we can get back the original substance. On the other hand, a change which cannot be reversed is called an irreversible change. If you burn a piece of paper, you will get ash. This ash cannot be changed back into paper. Similarly, once food is cooked, it cannot be changed back to the raw materials from which it was made.
Physical and chemical changes. A change in which the basic composition of a substance does not change is called a physical change. In a physical change, the shape, size and state of a substance may change. Melting of ice, tearing of paper, breaking of glass and mixing of salt, water are examples of physical change. Many of the reversible changes like melting and boiling of water are physical changes too. When, during a change, the composition of a substance changes, it is called a chemical reaction or change. When we burn coal, it produces carbon dioxide gas, which is a new substance. When flowers change into fruit, new edible substances are formed in the process. When milk is boiled in some lemon juice, it changes into cheese. All these are chemical changes. Many chemical changes are irreversible changes too. Other types of changes. Expansion. You know that matter exists in three states. These are solids, liquids and gases. In solids, particles are very close to each other and cannot move. In liquids, particles are loosely packed and are free to move within the liquid. In gases, particles are very far away from each other and can move to any distance. When you heat a solid, it will melt into liquid form, and if you cool this liquid, it will turn to solid again. When we heat a substance, its particles gain energy and start moving away from each other. This is called expansion.
Gases show maximum expansion, whereas solids show minimum expansion. Can you decide whether expansion is a reversible or irreversible change? Mercury is a metal which exists in liquid form at room temperature. It expands with the smallest increase in temperature. This property makes it useful for use in thermometers. Check a mercury thermometer in your chemistry lab. See how the mercury expands when you dip the thermometer in warm water. The expansion in solids is very less and therefore very hard to measure. The expansion of metals is important in many machines. 1. On the railway tracks, small gaps are left after regular intervals. This is done because in summer, when the temperature is high, the metal tracks expand. If the gaps are not left, the tracks will deform at joints. In winters again, the metal contracts and the gap increases. 2. When it is difficult to open a bottle of jam with a metal lid, the lid is heated gently. The metal lid then expands and loosens its grip on the bottle and it can be opened easily. 3. Steel rims are fitted into wooden wheels after heating. The rim is heated so it expands and becomes bigger. Then it is fitted over the wooden wheel. When it cools, it contracts and fits tightly over the wheel.
Contraction. If you keep an empty mineral water bottle in the freezer for an hour, you will find that it shrinks in and gets deformed. This happens due to contraction of air inside the bottle. When the air gets cooled, the air particles come closer and occupy less space. As a result, the bottle gets squeezed. If you keep this bottle outside for some time, it gets back to its original shape. This is because the air inside the bottle absorbs heat and expands again.
Contraction 2 is maximum in gases and minimum in solids.
Desirable and undesirable changes. Changes which are for our benefit are called desirable changes. For example, ripening of fruits, cooking of food and change of seasons are desirable changes. Those changes which are harmful for us are known as undesirable changes. For example, floods, drought, pollution and accidents are undesirable changes.